WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Michael Sandlin. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll get to all of our top stories and more in just a moment, but first, let's check that forecast with meteorologist John Birchfield. John, it's been a sticky and humid weekend. Is this going to continue into the work week?
Well, we are going to get a little pause on the humidity to start off the week. If the kids are heading back to school tomorrow, it is going to be a less humid feeling day. Highs only in the lower 80s and a bit of a cooler lake breeze that will be developing. Overall, a very comfortable start to the work and the school week with those temperatures on the cooler side. There has been a cold front work on through, and the last of those showers now pushing well to the south of the Toledo metro. That cold front currently moving towards the Ohio River, and you can see shower and storm activity pushing off towards Pennsylvania. Still some leftover cloud cover with the last of that broken line of showers moving into central Ohio. It is a bit breezy though in the wake of that front. Winds are coming in out of the east northeast, especially towards the lakeshore. 25 miles an hour in Oak Harbor, 23 in Sandusky, and 22 in Fremont. Those wind reports. Monday is going to feature increasing sunshine, 82 degrees, breezy and less humid with 10 to 20-mile-an-hour winds coming in out of the east. The back to school forecast going to be a cooler and comfortable morning. 6 a.m. 62 degrees, staying in the 60s through 8 o'clock a.m. I'm going to preview your full 10-day outlook coming up in just a few minutes. Michael.
All right, John, we'll see you then. 2 people are now indicted in the death of a 7-year-old boy. According to court documents, 29-year-old Samantha Hardiman is facing charges for murder, involuntary manslaughter, and endangering children. A warrant is out for her arrest. 28-year-old Joshua Mulvey is charged with involuntary manslaughter and endangering children. He was booked into the Lucas County Jail on Friday afternoon. 7-year-old Christopher Snyder was found dead inside a home on Freeman Street in central Toledo back in June of 2023. Police say Hardiman was the mother of Christopher, and Mulvey, who you can see right here, was her boyfriend at the time. The Lucas County coroner says Christopher died from malnutrition and dehydration associated with cerebral palsy, with epilepsy as another significant condition. His death was ruled as a homicide. Turning to lighter fare now to some exciting news for avid runners and joggers. His dominance of road racing in the late 1970s and early 80s earned him the nickname the King of the Roads. We're of course talking about Bill Rodgers, the legendary distance runner who is returning to run in Toledo 43 years after winning the Pepsi Challenge right here in the Glass City back in 1982. He will be talking at Waite High School at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, August 20th. Bill Rodgers, the 1976 Olympian, has a long list of accomplishments in his amazing career, most notably his wins in both the Boston and New York City marathons. His return back to Toledo is 43 years in the making.
I'm looking forward to come to Toledo again, and I hope to meet a lot of people, and we're just going to talk running, you know.
Rodgers will also have copies of his book Marathon Man, and posters will be for sale before the talk and after the run. An optional 3-mile run will start across the street at 7:45 p.m., followed by an autograph signing. Wreaths Across America held their annual car show today that helps honor veterans. Taking place at Toledo Memorial Park in Sylvania, the 13th annual car show had over 200 cars for the community to see, while also supporting veterans and honoring those who died in battle, a cause that brings more and more to come support every year.
It's fantastic, and the people are fantastic here. We don't charge to get in here, it's all donations. And every time I've gone back and looked at how many cars we had and the money we brought in, it was more than, well, it was $15 before. It was more than the $15 per car, easily.
The National Wreaths Across America Day will be December 13th at noon. And the city of Waterville is celebrating their new community area with a farmer's market. The second food and flea market took place in the new Parker Square, bringing 28 local businesses and vendors out for the community to enjoy. The event organizer, Aggie Alt, said the hope is to bring people in Waterville together and show the city what the new square can be used for.
There's so many opportunities that are here, from music to activities like this to community events. I think this is going to be a real centering point for the area.
Alt says the plan now is to continue the flea markets next year, one every third Sunday between April and August. Coming up, back to school time is here and more students return to class this week. Stay tuned to hear when and some changes to expect for this upcoming school year.
And I'm tracking a cooler and less humid weather pattern for late August. Below average temperatures expected. I'll preview that in your full 10-day outlook coming up next.
Well, we did it. Not only selling out the Toledo St. Jude Dream Home giveaway, but raising a record $2.25 million in this year's campaign, making it the largest St. Jude Dream Home giveaway ever in Toledo's history. Now, most importantly, it is about the mission. With the mission of Toledo's Danny Thomas, supporting children and families that no child should ever face the diagnosis of cancer. Danny Thomas said, no child should ever die in the dawn of life. And this year, this community came together, raising that record $2.25 million. And that is something we can all celebrate.
Hey, we won the freaking St. Jude house!
Weather-wise, it is going to be a less humid start to the upcoming week as we head towards back-to-school week. For many, highs are only going to be in the lower 80s, and there is going to be a cooler east breeze coming in off the lake for your Monday. Right now, still mild, still muggy, but it is turning a little breezy with some of those fair weather clouds fading away as we have a cold front working on through. Dry weather right now as the last of those showers exit the area along a cold front that currently spans from New England all the way back towards the Ohio River Valley, and that cold front is going to bring us a little reprieve from the humidity Monday. Winds are starting to pick up with east-northeast winds around 25 miles an hour in Oak Harbor. And due to those winds, there is the potential for rip currents on Lake Erie. It is recommended to avoid swimming on Monday, stretching from Ottawa County back towards Erie County and the Cleveland and Erie, Pennsylvania lake shores. There is the chance for rip currents. Going to be a gusty and choppy day on the waters. Waves 2 to 3 feet expected with that east wind sustained between 10 to 15 knots. Temperature-wise, it is going to be a little cooler at 82 degrees. And the back-to-school forecast for the morning bus stop, a little bit of a chill in the air, 62 degrees at 6 a.m., 65 at 7 a.m., 67 at 8 a.m. So how warm is it going to be tomorrow? It depends where you live. In the morning, temperature is going to be in the low to mid 80s, and as that east wind picks up, there is going to be a temperature difference from east to west. If you live east of Toledo, there's a chance that we're in the low to mid 70s out towards Port Clinton, Sandusky and Seneca counties in the upper 70s. We are likely to top out in the lower 80s in the metro, and then west, closer to the Indiana state line, mid 80s are going to be likely, although regardless of where you live, you can count on a less humid day. The heat will be back Tuesday with those highs climbing back to the upper 80s, as well as our next storm chance. Scattered storms as a stronger cold front works on in Tuesday, and the middle of the week does bring some less humid and cooler days with temperatures expected to be in the lower 80s. So looking at the hour-by-hour forecast, it is going to be a dry day Monday. There is going to be increasing sunshine anticipated. Monday night into Tuesday could see a few spotty showers, and then Tuesday evening as that cold front works on through, I am expecting some additional thunderstorms Tuesday evening. Highs are going to be closer to 80 late August, and we are still on track for that change in the weather pattern. A much less humid setting is expected for much of the region, stretching from New England back towards the Great Lakes in the upper Midwest. Late August is expected to bring some cooler, comfortable, and largely sunny days. Lots of dry days are going to be ahead in that 10-day outlook, and if you need rainfall, Tuesday is really going to be the only opportunity. A 40% storm chance Tuesday with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, and then lots of sunshine ahead. A stronger cold front comes in late next weekend, and that is going to bring some days in the upper 70s with quite a few sunny days ahead, and overall that extended outlook is trending towards some slightly cooler days. I think it's fitting, Michael, that with back to school this week, we start to see some of those cooler temperatures.
Yeah, absolutely. It's starting to get in that feeling, you know. I remember when I used to get ready for school, in those early days, it's really hot in your school building. We didn't even have ACs sometimes. Yeah, so definitely it's going to be that first month for kids going to be kind of toasty, but then temperatures start dropping off quick.
Just kind of a little bit of a hint of fall in the air, and I know with high school football starting up as well, we've got some beautiful looking weather for next Friday as well.
I know, and we're not too far away from fire pit weather now.
Yep, getting closer.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of back to school, backpacks are packed and buses are getting ready to roll. It's back to school week for many local students. Several districts kick off the new school year this week. Tomorrow, Anthony Wayne, Springfield, and Sylvania students head back to class. Oregon follows on Tuesday, and Bowling Green starts Wednesday. Next week, it's Toledo and Washington local returning, with Bedford holding out until September. And for some school districts, they're gearing up for their first day of school. Perrysburg is preparing for a change at the top. Superintendent Tom Hostler stepped down after accepting a position with the Ohio School Boards Association. He'll officially take over as the board's chief executive officer on September 1st. Hostler has led Perrysburg schools for the past 18 years. Tomorrow, the district will host an open house to celebrate his service. That'll be from 4 to 5:30 at the Commodore Building on East Indiana Avenue. And we could soon learn who will be Hostler's successor tomorrow as well. The Board of Education is expected to vote on whether to approve Dr. Katie Anstadt as interim superintendent. If approved, she'll step into the role immediately. Now, Anstadt was superintendent of Washington local schools for 5 years. And it's not just new schedules and new leadership. Some students will also see new rules. Sylvania Schools is rolling out a district-wide cell phone policy this year. In a letter to families, the superintendent said students from kindergarten through 12th grade must silence their phones and keep them in their lockers all day. The change follows a new state law restricting student use of electronics. Now, getting ready for the new school year starts with a good night's sleep. CBS has some tips to keep kids and, of course, the parents back on track.
Nakia Hargrove's family has their back-to-school strategy all tucked in.
So the week before school starts, we push back their bedtime about 30 minutes.
Gradually recalibrating that bedtime, doctors say, is crucial after a fun-filled summer where schedules are often looser.
Summertime, the schedules are off. However, you want to get your kids back on a great sleep schedule so that they can be more productive during the school days.
The amount of sleep kids need depends on their age. According to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, preschoolers need up to 13 hours a day, including naps. Children aged 6 to 12 should sleep 9 to 12 hours, and teenagers benefit from 8 to 10 hours a night.
You have to remember, this is a new world, especially to young kids, and they're learning so much. And just like every other thing in your body, you have to have time for it to rest so that when it's active, it can be on it can be at the best potential.
Other important sleep tips: don't eat a heavy meal before bed, ditch those screens, and choose relaxing activities like showering and story time.
It's good to think of like a sleep runway, 60 to 90 minutes before you're hoping to fall asleep. And during that time, you're trying to take the cognitive load off of your mind, right? It would be like if you're driving, you're kind of slowly letting go of the gas pedal.
Hargrove says her twin 10-year-old daughters learn the effects of staying up too late.
They get to recognize how they feel the next day when they wake up, and if they're like groggy and they don't like how they feel, then they know, okay, I have to go to bed earlier.
Good advice for kids and parents alike. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Parents start to notice their kids' anxiety ticking up as school approaches. Talk to them about what they're thinking and even consider a test run of stressful activities like visiting the school or meeting classmates before the first day of school. Speaking of the first day of school, we got Chase Bachman with us. Chase, we got some high school sports starting to kick in now.
Yes, we do. When we return, season's almost here. We're catching up with a couple of more teams here from the Perkins Pirates next in sports. Sports brought to you by Jim White Honda. Welcome back. High school football season officially kicks off Friday, and WTOL 11 is getting you ready for all the action. Recently, we went to Sandusky to catch up with the Perkins Pirates. Perkins is coming off an historic season where they won 14 games and made it to the D4 state championship. The Pirates ended up losing a back-and-forth game to Indian Valley. Perkins loses a few notable starters like Braylon Collier and Isaac Bunce. They also return some critical players like quarterback Sam Schweinfurth and center Eli Sanchez. Head coach Jalen Santoro is in his 6th season leading the Pirates and looking forward to leading his team to another Sandusky Bay Conference championship.
At the end of the day, it's whether we're playing SBC, the NOC, obviously one of our goals every year is to go out and win a league championship. So, whether, like I said, it's the SBC, the NOC, doesn't matter for us. We're still searching for that league championship.
We're going to win it this year and just end it off on a right note. Make the SBC ours throughout the whole thing, and then once we get to the next thing, these next younger kids are going to take over that one.
I've started as a freshman and I haven't lost an SBC late game once. So I might as well go out my last year, win the whole thing, make a statement, you know what I'm saying?
We know that it's 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, and we just got to keep building bricks.
And in baseball, the Tigers were in action today in Minneapolis, taking on the Twins. Detroit came into this game having won 4 in a row, hoping to make it 5 and sweep the series versus Minnesota. But the Tigers couldn't get it done. They fall to the Twins 8-1. Detroit's 4-game win streak is snapped, but the team still has an 8.5-game lead on second-place Guardians for the AL Central title. And speaking of the Guardians, the team hosted the Braves today, starting in the bottom of the third. Guards down 1-0, runners in scoring position. Looks like a routine sac fly, but the catch is dropped. Stephen Kwan is coming home, and we are tied at 1. Still the third inning. Bo Naylor going to be up at bat next. Sends this to deep right field. He's going to get it to drop in the corner, brings a runner home, and Cleveland would take a 2-1 lead. Finally, we go to the fourth inning after this. Runners on first and second. Daniel Schneemann up at bat. He's going to rip this one to right center field. Ball drops before the outfielder can make the catch here. Allows another runner to come home and another. The Guardians take a 3-1 lead. Braves, though, would end up winning this one by a final of 5-4. Next up, the Guardians start their series with the Diamondbacks. And in AAA, Mud Hens hosting the Columbus Clippers for the final game of the series. Toledo got off to a hot start. Bottom of the first, bases loaded. Justin Henry Malloy rips it through the defense, brings home a runner, and the Hens take a 1-0 lead. Still the first inning. This time, Ryan Kreidler sends it to deep left center. Drops before it can go yard, allows the runner to come home, then another, and Toledo takes a 3-0 lead. Finally, second inning now. Runner on first, 2 outs. Trey Cruz going to send this to deep right field, and that ball is gone. A 2-run homer for Trey Cruz, and the Hens take a 5-0 lead. Toledo goes on to win this one 7-5. They win 4 of the 6-game series. Next week, they go to Rochester, New York to take on the Red Wings. And finally, coming up tonight at 11, we'll have more coverage of high school football teams as we get ready for the first regular season games this week. But until then, that's all for sports.
Welcome back. Coming up at 11, it's the 11th annual Community Film Festival. Amateur creators from the Northwest Ohio region submitted short films inspired by how they contribute to their community. The Lucas County Board of Developmental Disabilities and Film Toledo partnered to highlight the fact that creativity comes from everywhere. We'll hear why one of the winners says this is so important. Join us for that tonight at 11. Over in Texas, an old cabin that was built in the 1840s has been restored and is now being rented out. As CNN reports, the owners bought the cabin from eBay.
I like to look at it and think that Abraham Lincoln was president in the time that the cabin was originally built. So it kind of lets you know how old it was. And anyway, it's been a labor of love, but it's been fun. We've met a lot of neat people through it.
After buying the cabin online, Williamson says this project took them several years to complete.
My husband loves eBay, and so he was thumbing through one time and he found this cabin on a weird section of eBay, and we ended up buying it. So anyway, it took us 3 or 4 years to put it back up. Nothing square plumb. Takes a lot of effort.
She says with the cabin being from the 1840s, they wanted to keep as much of the original structure as possible.
It was somebody's home and it had 3 stories. We have 2. We made it into 2, or it was 2 stories and a loft. And all the upstairs is original flooring even. I've stencil painted it because it was pretty rough. But it's all original, even the door frames. We use the old wood.
She says she rents out the log cabin so more people can enjoy it.
You know, you have something like this, you want to share it. And between it from the 1840s and our house, which is from the 1890s, It's like you feel like you're not really the owners, you're more like caretakers. So hopefully the next generation will carry that on, because these things were made with strong bones. They were made to last. A lot of the stuff nowadays is just not. So it's like being a caretaker of something to pass on to somebody else, hopefully, that'll appreciate it.
Man, someone give her a cup of coffee. You think she'd be a little more excited?
Did they drink coffee back in 1840?
I think they had coffee back then, yeah.
Yeah, it probably wasn't the high-powered stuff we have today.
No, not the triple-shot nitrogen Starbucks cans that people can get at the grocery store.
Yeah, not quite the same. What do you think, John? Would you live in that cabin?
I mean, I know they built it really well, but those floorboards, I wouldn't trust them necessarily.
You don't trust the original 1840s
Probably a little
floorboards?
bit creaky.
No, it's a fun game because every third one turns to powder when you step on it.
No termites, hopefully.
Probably a few for the experience.
One or two. That's authentic, Chase.
That's just old style living, you know.
We have no AC because it's authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of no AC, what's the weather looking like for the week, John?
Well, you're not going to be needing it as much this week. We do have some cooler days ahead. Tuesday is going to be our last day for thunderstorm chances. A little cooler midweek. We do spike back to the mid-80s Friday and Saturday, and a big drop in humidity next Sunday. We're looking at some days in the upper 70s and sunshine expected. And week 1 of high school football is also looking great with a nice mild evening Friday night.
That's what I like to hear, John.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
1 for 1 so far this
There we
season.
go. Let's keep it up.
Goodness, we're just flying through this year. Well, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys get to join us again at 11 p.m. on the TV, or you can catch us right here on WTOL 11+. But for now, have a nice afternoon.